Hello and welcome to the HomeQuest show, where we try to give actionable tips to help you in buying a home, and also if you've bought a home, tips to help you afford it and hopefully pay off your mortgage sooner than later.
That sounds good.
Yeah, and so today we're going to cover what should you do if you have a low FICO score. So I think backing up, we always like to give like a definition of what a FICO score or a credit score is.
Yeah.
And when you're filling out a loan application, like a credit score is 9 times out of 10 going to be needed, and it's probably one of the most important things. And
it's very important. A credit FICO score is very important. People don't always understand that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, to get in the background, there's 3 bureaus that are doing FICO scoring on you. And that continues each month. You get a new FICO score each month as it goes. So you don't want to have a bad FICO score when you're applying for a loan. The better your FICO score, the better the interest rate. The lower your FICO score, the worse your interest rates will be.
Worse to the point of not qualifying for a loan.
You can actually not qualify because your FICO score is so low. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'll switch to the screen. But in general, a FICO score is a third-party grade on your ability to pay back debt.
Right.
And so we've got a couple examples here, and I guess we'll go from left to right. We've got for FHA loans, which is a government loan. It's a very liberal loan, helps a lot of people become home buyers.
It's known as a first-time home buyer type loan. They really try to help you get into the home. And so they're a little more liberal on a few things. And they're more lenient on the FICO scores.
Mm-hmm. And we've got this asterisk. I'm pointing the wrong way, but we've got this asterisk for the FHA loan. Typically, I guess technically you don't have to have a 580 FICO score to get an FHA loan. That being said, lenders don't want to help you get this loan,
right?
If your score's too low, if your score says, "Hey, I don't pay back my debt," they say, "Okay, we don't want to touch you."
So this is one of those programs where the government sets the guidelines, and the guidelines for a minimum FICO score, there are no guidelines for minimum FICO score. If an underwriter will approve you and they can justify it, then you don't need a 580. But then the individual lenders that do these loans, they come up with what we call overlays or additional guidelines that they're comfortable with. And as a broker, we can shop around and get the best situation for whatever you're in. But yeah, if you shop around, most lenders are going to be at a 580 minimum. Some are even higher than that. In fact, quite a few.
Yeah. And you know what? These minimum numbers can change too from lenders. The lender's overlay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember during COVID, it was a bit higher. There's so many people that wanted to get a loan, and they want to focus their money on, I guess, the best, most promising people that are going to pay them back. And so these numbers were a bit higher.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. They've gotten a little bit more lenient over the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I want to note. So we've got the FHA loan, the VA loan. They both have the asterisk where there's no minimum. There's technically no minimum score, but good luck finding a lender. And there are lenders that will what we call manually underwrite
right
your file.
Right. And when an underwriter goes in to look at someone who has a FICO score less than 580, or even any FICO score, and there's negative items on their credit report, then they're going to look at the credit report and say, well, what caused that? What was the event? They're looking for the event that caused that, and was that beyond your control, and can you explain why that happened? And then is that event now corrected, and are you able to make your payments? That's really what an underwriter is looking for when you have a FICO score less than what we're talking about here.
Mm-hmm. And I think we have a whole course on for home buyers, and it'll teach them how to build up their credit and everything. But I think probably one of the biggest forms of advice we can give you is, if you don't know your credit score, figure it out. There's free ways to get it. We can help you with that as well.
Yep. If you don't have any idea, we can give you some suggestions. We can do some credit inquiries if you want to do that. In fact, I would encourage it if you're questioning that. And then we can give you some advice on how to fix it or correct it or what you need to do.
Yeah. What we don't want to see, and what we see too often, is people will say, okay, my lease comes up at the end of 2 or 3 months from now. And so a month before, that's when I'll reach out to a loan officer to start the process of getting ready to buy a home. And they might not know that they have things that holding them back on their credit that we can coach them through on how to improve their credit score so they can get better terms or even be able to qualify for a home.
Right. Yeah. If you have any hesitancy or don't know what your FICO scores are, don't know exactly where you're at, and you've made some late payments or what have you, give us a call. Let us look at it. We need to kind of nail that down, and that's pretty critical. Once you have that nailed down, then we can move forward. So that's what I would recommend, that you reach out to a loan officer.
Yeah, I guess kind of to wrap up this video, if you feel like your credit is low, find out for sure whether it is or whether it's
or not. If you don't know what it is.
Or if you don't know, you can figure it out for free. There's what is it, annualreport.com?
Annualcreditreport.com is free.
And if you reach out to like Experian,
they don't. Annualcreditreport.com does not put a FICO score on it. It will give you what your credit is. And one thing to look at on that is if you're a person and you always make your payments on time, but you max out your credit cards, then your FICO score may be lower than what you think. And I think you need to be aware of that.
Yeah. So we'll wrap this up. And again, we'll refer to other trainings that we've made. But in general, if you have any questions about your score, reach out. We'd be happy to help kind of coach you in the right direction. And I think the biggest thing is if you're looking to buy a home, start early.
Right.
Start your HomeQuest.